Over here on the side. And a little video.
All right, somebody's unmuted. Mr. Rittenhauer, you've unmuted yourself. Just to let you know that if you do it again, I'm going to remove you back to the lobby. Okay?
Can you not hear me?
I don't want to hear you right now. I'm conducting court, and I will unmute you when I'm ready to talk to you. Okay, now he's muted himself. Okay. Mr. Rittenhauer, I know you can hear me. I'm just telling you again that if you unmute yourself while I'm moving things around, I will move you back to the lobby until I'm ready to talk to you. Okay, let's jump into the jail case first before we call the calendar, because we only have the virtual system from 9 to 10, because Judge Miller needs it. So I believe Jamie Weich is present. Are you Jamie Weich?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Weich, this is a, I left the packet. Hold on. Mr. Weich, you are here today because your probation officer has filed paperwork on your case, which is 18 TK 3378, alleging that you're out of compliance with your probation. Do you understand what you're doing here today?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to have you and your probation officer both please raise your right hands. Do you both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're both sworn. Mr. Weich, can you, just to make certain we're all good, can you see me here waving at you?
Yes, sir.
Can you see your probation officer, Miss Matthews, on the screen there on one of the other boxes? Wait. Can you see her there?
Miss.
Miss Matthews?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you see your attorney, Mr. Busey, there waving at you from inside the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Great. I'm going to move this so that my court reporter can see you. There we go. Perfect. All right. Is it okay with you, Mr. Weich, if we do this hearing virtually over this video conference system?
Yes, sir.
And then lastly, just so you know, because you have your attorney here, if you need to speak with your attorney at any point, you just tell me. He'll step out back into the jury room and call that phone just to your left, answer any questions you may have. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Weich, are you ready to go forward with your hearing?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have you had enough time to speak with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
And are you satisfied with the job Mr. Busey has done on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to pivot to Mr. Busey then. And Mr. Busey, is this going to be an admission or a denial?
An admission, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to mark that his attorney has announced admission. Mr. Busey, what is the request you have of me on sentencing on this matter?
Because Mr. Weich is being held on several other charges with no bond, we've been unable to get no war bond on those. We would ask that he just be given some time to serve on this, just revoke. It's only suspended license charge that this originally was, and I realize the charges since are more serious than that. But I think 60 or 90 days would probably be appropriate in this case.
Okay.
I would like to point out also that since becoming incarcerated, that Mr. Weich's son has been diagnosed with a pretty serious blood disorder, and that he's only 3 months old.
Ooh.
And he realizes now the importance of his being there, so I think he's ready to make some positive changes, and he knows this is a good wake-up call for him.
Okay. Mr. Weiss, I think your attorney's request on this matter is proper. And I'm gonna grant the low range on what he's requested from me. Because I'm also looking at the fact that you are currently no bonded on all your new charges, so I just need to be very clear that no matter what I do today, you've gotta resolve those other issues before you can secure release. Do you understand that, Mr. Weiss?
Yes, sir.
All right, with your attorney's, acknowledgement that this is an admission and the request for sentencing, I'm gonna grant it. I'm gonna order that you serve 60 days in the Spalding County Jail. I'm gonna give you credit for all the time you've already served, which is, just 17 days according to today's census, and I'm terminating the balance of your case.
Yes, sir.
Any questions for me?
No, sir. Well, yes, sir. Actually, I should ask him about. Well, never mind. No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Weiss, later on today, you'll be pulled out of your cell by one of the deputies. They're gonna present you with this piece of paper that I'm holding up. Can you see that I'm holding up a piece of paper here?
Yes, sir.
And it's gonna have a spot right there for you to sign in the bottom right corner. I'll have you sign that and then they'll get it back to you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Weiss, that's it. Thank you very much. And, hey, I'm sorry about your son. I want you to know that I'm sorry about your son as a fellow dad. I hope your son has a speedy and full recovery, and I hope you're able to get this part under control and go and be a dad.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Don, did you tell me you had somebody else all lined up and ready to go?
Yes, sir. I got Mr. Ryan Archer lined up, ready to go. Just give me 30 seconds. He'll be right here.
All right, let's go ahead and do Archer, because you'll then need to swap, you'll need several minutes then to swap to the next group.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do that then. So, so please do that, and then I'll call the calendar. Anything else?
No, Your Honor, may I be excused?
Distribution, thank you very much for always being prepared. I said, we'll see you, I don't know, somewhere.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, let me grab Mr. Archer's paperwork and we'll jump right in. All right, Mr. Archer, are you Ryan Archer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Archer, Ms. Matthews, y'all both please raise your right hands. You both solemnly swear or affirm your testimony about to give this matter these matters will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
I do.
All right, you both sworn. Mr. Archer, you understand you're here today because your probation officer filed paperwork with me alleging that you're out of compliance with your probation?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand, Mr. Archer, that because you're incarcerated, you have the right to have the public defender's office represent you?
Yes, sir.
And you're here today representing yourself, is that correct?
No, my public defenders ain't here.
They do not indicate that they represent you. So what I was gonna offer you is a continuance. And what that'll give you is two options. Number one, if you wanted to apply with them, it'll give you a chance to finalize that application. If you're able to get with them and they're able to reach an agreement on your behalf, you don't have to wait till your next hearing to resolve your case. You can do that if you choose to by consent before your next court date. But otherwise, if you want me to give you time to do that, I'm happy to do that, and I'll move your case to the 22nd. So, would you like me to do that, Mr. Archer?
Yeah, you can do that if you want to.
Okay. So, Mr. Archer, I'm going to send 2 reset notices out to you. You are currently no bonded on felony charges, so you can't get out anyway.
Yeah.
Ms. Matthews, these 2 petitions are still good for the 22nd, so I'm not going to mark on them at all. I'm going to simply tuck them into the pile of things that go back to you. Is that what you want me to do,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Matthews?
Thank you.
Okay, just making sure I'm thinking that through correctly. All right, Ryan Archer on 18 SR 0602. I'm marking here that you're being reset to Thursday, October 22nd, 2020 at 9 a.m. If you have not already filled out an application with the Public Defender's Office, please do that today.
All right.
And as best I can tell, there's no scenario where you can secure release, or let me rephrase that, there's no reasonable scenario where you can secure release before your next court date, unless you also figure out or convince a Superior Court judge to give you a bond on your felony charges. All right, any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna send these 2 reset notices out for you to sign, Mr. Archer. Resetting your case, okay?
All right.
Am I gonna have any trouble with you signing them?
No.
Okay, perfect. I've learned the hard way to ask that question. Okay, Mr. Archer, that's it. You are free to go back to your cell. And just sign your paperwork when it comes out. All right, I've just started a court services pile up here. That'll work. All right, done. I'm gonna go call the calendar now. We'll do the walk-ins. And if you guys will wave at me when somebody shows up on the screen in the jail seat. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to call the calendar. When I call your name, what I'm looking for from you is just to announce that you are here, and that will let me know which pile to put you in. So as I call your name and you're present, just yell out here good and loud so that I can hear you. All right. Number 1 on the case and 2 was Ryan Archer. We've just addressed his case through the jail. Ryterius Askin.
Here.
Thank you. John Barry.
Your Honor, he's off the calendar.
Wonderful. Okay. One less thing for me to worry about. Aaron Hall.
Here.
Stephen Lemons. Stephen Montrell Lemons, 20 SR 603. Answer to your name. Having called the case in open court, no answer from Mr. Lemons, I'm authorizing a warrant for his arrest. All right, that's done. DeAnthony McDuffie.
Here.
Thank you. Brittany Dawn Pierce was an execution. I have reset that case at the request of the bondsman for 60 days. All right, I know Mr. Rittenhauer is here because he's virtual and I've already talked to him. Alexander Thompson is a jail case, and he's who you all will see next in the seat, and you'll wave at me, which brings me to Richard Tolbert.
Here.
any witnesses here on Richard Tolbert's case?
Yeah.
You are, and you are. Okay, I had 3 witnesses subpoenaed. All right, we'll call that one, next then. Christy, Titus Ward. Titus Ward, answer to your name. 19 SR 1434. All right, having called 19 SR 1434, Titus Ward, no to court. No answer. For ironically enough, failure to report probation. I'm issuing a warrant. All right, that authorization is granted. And Christy Whitmire?
Here.
All right. And then Miss Andrea Wynn is virtual, so she's here. All right, Richard Tolbert, where are you? Come on up to the podium. Mr. Tolbert, please, I'm going to have you and Ms. Matthews both please raise your right hands. You both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down. You're both sworn. Mr. Tolbert, you're here today on 19 SR 632 because your probation officer has filed paperwork with me alleging that you're out of compliance with your probation. You understand what you're doing here today?
Yes, sir.
You ready to go forward with your hearing?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Tolbert, I'm reading this petition. It says that you missed some report dates, is that correct?
Is it correct that I did, or it was the
Did you miss report dates or not?
no?
You did not miss any report dates, all right, that's a denial. And that you provided 39 hours of community service work that could not be verified. Did you do that or not?
No.
Okay, that's 2 denials, which means this is now a contested hearing. And instead of an admission, I will now be making a decision after an evidentiary hearing, and I will make that decision by preponderance of the evidence of whether or not you have violated your probation. If I decide you have not violated your probation, then you will return to regular probation. If I decide that you have violated your probation, then I will make a decision of what to do with the remaining, is it 35 days, Ms. Matthews?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, then I'll make a decision as to what the remaining 35 days should be. I can do anything from even finding a violation, returning you to regular probation, or I can order you to serve 35 days in the Spalding County Jail. You understand my options?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, with that said, the state goes first, so I'm gonna start with you, Ms. Matthews. You're under oath. Tell me a little bit about this case.
Your Honor, as to violation number 1, missed reports, Mr. Tolbert failed to report as directed on March 2nd of 2020, May 20th of 2020, June 12th of 2020, July 1st of 2020, and September 23rd of 2020. As to violation number 2, the defendant turned in, now, Your Honor, since this petition has been prepared, 49 hours of community service that I was unable to verify. When he turned the information into me, actually he turned it into Ms. Howell, and I ended up having to transfer this case to myself due to some issues in the office with Mr. Tolbert. So once I received this case, I reached out to Mr. Stevens at Waypoint, which is our community service contact there, because I had multiple red flags when he turned in this community service to me. So I contacted Mr. Stevens in an attempt to verify the community service on September the 16th. After speaking with Mr. Stevens, he's told me that he would need to reach out to Ms. Brownlee due to her signature being on the paperwork, and then he would report back to me. Mr. Stevens got back to me on that same day of September 16th and stated that Ms. Brownlee stated that that was not her signature and those hours could not be verified. Mr. Tolbert appeared in the office on September 25th. I inquired with him about the hours after he turned in an additional community service. Mr. Tolbert's statement was to me was, "Come on, Miss Matthews, why you got to do all this? Why don't you just let me pay for it?" I advised Mr. Tolbert that's not what we do in these situations. Mr. Tolbert left the office. He returned sometime later on the 25th with a Jamila, and I apologize, Judge, cannot pronounce her last name. She presented me a Waypoint business card and stated that she was the one that had filled out his sheet. I explained to Miss Jamila that she was not on my approved signature sheet that we have set up with all court-approved community service locations. Ms. Jamila advised me that Ms. Brownlee had given her permission to sign her name. I advised Ms. Jamila that that is not the procedure that these organizations go through, that through their contract, they know not to do that, and that they've provided me a list of all people that they have authorized to sign. And if Ms. Jamila was on that list, she would have signed her own name. She left then, and Mr. Tolbert told me that he would see me in court with his attorney. I then reached out and went into person and sat down with Mr. Stevens on the 28th, and he had Ms. Brownlee on a phone call. Ms. Brownlee stated that she never gave Ms. Jamila the permission to sign her name. Mr. Stevens states that he has never seen Mr. Tolbert, and that we had multiple questions because prior to COVID, Waypoint was giving 4 hours per day. After COVID or during COVID, they've been giving about 2 hours a day, and most of that community service occurs on Wednesdays when Mr. Stevens is there. Mr. Tolbert never reported on a date that Mr. Stevens was there, and he has multiple dates with more than the 2 hours that people are currently getting at this time.
Okay, this hearing is significantly more involved than I initially intended. Come on through the podium there. You're gonna have a seat in this front seat here. All right, Ms. Matthews. All right, so I'm sorry, Mr. Tolbert. Ms. Matthews has just testified as the first witness for the state. I'm having you come forward, sit it there, use that, no, keep your mic, keep it up.
Keep it up.
Keep it up. That's what the microphone's for. It gets really loud when you get close. So
Okay.
all the way up over your nose, all the way up over your nose. Yep, okay, don't take it off. And you may ask Ms. Matthews any questions you may have.
Well, honestly, at first, see the whole situation.
Nope, you're not listening. You may ask Ms. Matthews any questions you may have. You were starting a statement to me.
Well, no, because honestly, first, see, Ms. Howell was my first probation officer. So she has a lot of information that Ms. Matthews doesn't know about. It always was an arrangement. They say come and report on a Wednesday. But they say report Wednesday or Fridays. I have reported every Friday, but I never reported on Wednesday. And there never was a problem with that. They always approve that. I have been approved. I have a receipt from September 23rd of all of the date that I was there. I reported every week that I was supposed to or called in. It was a problem. They didn't have people come there in April because of COVID. And early in March and February, my stepdaughter was in an accident, was in a hit and run accident in Savannah. She got hit by a car. She was in ICU. I couldn't make it. I told them. I called and I reported, and I was given permission to come the next week. Miss Matthews just received this case because of a situation with Miss Howell, where I honestly forgot about, not reporting on April because of COVID. It was my mistake, and I addressed it to Miss Matthews to let her know that, okay, it was a mistake. I apologize. It wasn't an issue. It was just a misunderstanding that no one clarified. With Miss Matthews, I'm like, I understand where she's going with the whole probation situation or the community service down at Waypoint. When I got there 2 months ago, they told me that I had to have been paid my probation off 2 months before it was done, which didn't make sense to me, and I had lost my job. So I requested community service. When I got the community service paper, I saw that it said Waypoint was a community service thing. My wife, Jamila Upton, just so happened to be on the board of Waypoint. So yes, I inquired with her about that. Then we went through steps to do community service under the guidelines of Waypoint. So I have to ask her, like, did you at any time ever ask me anything about the community service? You just let me turn it in. With the paper, she let me turn the paper in, which I have to date, which has all the stuff on it. I turned the paper in 2, 3, 4 times, showing that I have done community service. She didn't say nothing then. She didn't say nothing. But I was supposed to get off of probation.
Mr. White.
I was supposed to get off probation doing my community service hours, like the 23rd or whatever. So she didn't say nothing until the last day that she gonna try to present me with a subpoena. Which I was like, well, you guys would have asked me anything, it could have been settled. I just feel that if she had been done, or she just trying to entrap me to put me in jail for no reason, because I comply with everything.
All right. Mr. Tolbert, I'm going to grant your unstated request for me to conduct this hearing in an out-of-order manner. I'm going to take all the statements that you just made as your testimony during your defense, and therefore I'm going to go ahead and call that this part. I've asked you twice to ask Ms. Matthews questions. You've not asked her a single question, so I'm going to call this your testimony. So I'm going to ask you, that document that I've just passed down to you, is that the document that you say you turned in?
Yes.
Okay. All right, pass that back up, please. I'm going to mark that as, pass it over to the table, please.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tolbert. All right. I'm going to mark, this has been presented to me prior to today's hearing, and I'm going to mark it up here at the top with my own markings. This as State's Exhibit 1. Okay. All right. Ms. Matthews, anything else?
Judge, I did fail to mention when Miss Jamila came in the office, I did inquire about her relationship to Mr. Tolbert. Her response to me was that she was a family friend. And then she came back into the office without Mr. Tolbert that same day. I'd had the opportunity to go to Facebook and research her name. Once I did that, I saw a wedding picture of the two of them. When she came back in, I inquired with her again, her relationship to Mr. Tolbert. She then again stated to me that she was a family friend. I took my phone and showed it to her, and I'm like, Miss Jamila, you're not his wife. Her statement to me was then that they had not filed their marriage license, so therefore she did not qualify herself as his wife.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Matthews. Anything else, Mr. Tolbert?
No, sir.
Is this lady that she's discussing your friend or your wife?
This is my wife.
Okay. All right. I'm going to call Sandra Brownlee to the stand. Ms. Brownlee, if you'll please come forward and sit in this seat to my right. Ms. Brownlee, if you'll grab a seat there, scoot forward. The mic is on, and you can be seen on the feed. All right, will you raise your right hand for me? I solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right, lean into the mic right there and state your full name
Sandra Elaine Brownlee.
and your occupation.
I'm the CEO and volunteer at Waypoint Veteran Service Center, Discovering Soldiers' Potential.
All right, so are you familiar with Mr. Tolbert at all?
No.
All right. I'm going to present to you what the state has provided to me prior to the beginning of this hearing. COVID makes all these hearings a little bit disjointed. So this is State's Exhibit 1. It is a document that I think appears to have your signature. You tell me.
That's not my signature, just Judge, I'm sorry.
Okay. So it appears to have multiple times for your signature. Are any of those on that document your signature?
No.
Okay. Are you familiar with any of the information that's on that document?
No, I've never seen this document. I don't, so just like as a CEO, when we first started the nonprofit, we had decided we would allow veterans and non-veterans to do community service there. And so getting with the probation officer, we did our signature cards. At that time, I was doing the community service because we were new, but I have not done community service in about a year and a half. Mr. Stevens does the community service, and the only way you can get on that roster to do community service is going through him on a Wednesday, and he assigning you time and frame for you to come and do your community service. I don't know, I've never met Mr. Talbert, and I don't know anything about the sheet until I've seen it, and that is not my signature. I would give someone authorization to
Okay,
sign
that-
my signature. I would give people authorization to sign for me, but I would never.
That was my next question is, have you given anyone authority to sign your signature with express permission?
No.
All right, anything else you want me to know?
I just don't understand this.
Okay.
I mean, I think that Ms. Upton is a good person. She's always been a good person, and she was on my board of directors. But I just don't understand this. It's still confusing me why this even happened. It was unnecessary.
At this point, I've got the information I'm looking for from you. Mr. Tolbert, of course, has the right to cross-examine you and ask you questions. He chose not to ask Ms. Matthews any questions, but he may have some questions for you. Do you have any questions?
Yes,
for-
I do have a question. Now, my wife told me that she asked you about community service or about the community service, and you said on the phone when we talked to you that you gave her permission to sign, use your name. You said that
Hold on, hold on. You asked her a question and she started to answer it. So
Okay,
This
so
is
have
the
you,
time, this is the time where you be quiet and you let her answer the question you asked. Go ahead.
It would be asinine of me to give someone permission to put my signature on anything. That is the reason why you have your signature. I may as well give you my bank account and my mortgage. I would never allow someone to do that. I allow my board members to sign for me. I'm only one person. I'm all over the place.
right,
But they all know that when they sign for me, they don't sign my signature. They sign their signature because they're signing for me because I'm not there.
okay, well, is it true that you say that you give people permission to sign? So that they might sign your name on there?
For me, not my signature.
Have you ever clarified that? Did you clarify that for you or sign your name? Have people signed your name before?
Never.
Never?
If they did it illegally.
Never. That you never knew about.
They have never signed my signature.
But you have given people permission to sign things.
I've given people to sign for me, yes.
So is there in lost in translation, could anyone have took that for signing your name?
I will tell you with all sincerity, I do not believe anyone would misconstrue signing for someone and then actually signing that person's signature. I perfected that signature, so I would not allow someone to copy that signature. That wouldn't make sense to anyone. I don't know how you can mistake that, but it could happen, I'm sure.
So then last week, did you say that you would have given her permission to do that?
To sign my
When we-
signature?
When we talked to you, did you say that you forgot?
I would never forget to allow somebody to sign my signature.
Did you say that you forgot? Is that your statement that you said last week when we called you?
No, sir.
No?
I have never given anyone permission to
Really?
sign my signature.
I mean, on
Sign for me, yes.
God, under
I
oath,
have raised my
under
hand.
oath,
Okay, hold on.
under oath.
Hold on.
You
Hey,
really
Mr.
gonna say no?
Mr. Tolbert, this is not your
Yeah.
courtroom. You will not
But you
interrupt.
just gave me.
Mr. Tolbert, you will not interrupt me when I'm running my courtroom. This is not your courtroom, and you will listen when I'm speaking. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
You have interrupted me consistently as we have had this hearing.
I'm
And
sorry.
I am responsible
I'm
for
sorry.
conducting this courtroom in an orderly and professional manner, and I'm going to do that with or without you.
I'm
Do
sorry.
you understand me?
My apologies, Your Honor.
When I
I'm
speak,
not trying to disturb you.
You be quiet and listen.
Okay.
I will be quiet when it is your turn to speak, and I will listen to you intently. And I have done that at every stage of this, and you have repaid that by interrupting me every time I've tried to run this courtroom.
My apologies again.
Okay? Do not do it again.
Okay.
This witness has a right to answer your questions, and
Okay.
she has a right to finish that answer.
Yes, sir.
You have a right to ask her questions. You have a constitutional right to ask her questions, and I am desperately trying to protect your constitutional rights. And you are getting in the way of that.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Okay, this matter that you've asked about the signature has been scrubbed clean. You need to find a new topic to ask about, Mr. Tolbert. So, if you have a different topic you would like to ask her about, I will give you that opportunity. But do not ask her any more questions about the signature that has been asked and answered, and I'm closing that line of questioning. Ask your next question.
I had nothing else to say.
Okay. Do you want to take a minute, Mr. Tolbert? Take a couple of deep breaths and see if you can think of any more questions before I release this witness. Take a few minutes, take a few breaths, see if you have another question for this witness.
I just have a question of why you recanting what you said on the phone.
Okay, that question has already been asked and answered. You're welcome to move to a new topic.
But there's nothing else more to say.
Okay. If you're telling me that you have asked all the questions on the subjects you wish to ask, I am going to release this witness.
Thank
Do you have any other questions for Ms. Brown?
No, I have nothing.
All right, then you may step down. Thank you. Ms. Matthews, I do not have any additional information I'm seeking. Do you wish to call any additional witnesses? Ms.
Judge,
Matthews?
you don't have any interest in speaking to Mr. Stevens, who's in control of the community service, or Ms. Jamila, who is the one that states she signed the paper?
If you think they have anything they can add, you're certainly welcome to call them.
Yes, sir, I'd like to call Mr. Stevens.
Mr. Stevens, come on around to the seat here. Go ahead and grab a seat, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give this matter with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth, so help you God? All right, take your hand down. Lean into the mic, Mr. Stevens, and state your full name.
Richard D. Stevens.
And Mr. Stevens, please state your occupation.
I'm retired and volunteer at Waypoint Veterans Services, and I'm the community service volunteer coordinator and our volunteer coordinator.
All right. Ms. Matthews is going to just be asking you questions. She'll come over to the speaker. All right, Ms. Matthews, you may begin your questions.
Mr. Stevens, is it correct that you are the one that signs everyone's community service and they go through you to coordinate being able to do community service for Waypoint?
Yes, they go through me to set up a thing. We do a background check just to be sure the people that they're good to come to work. We try to give it to veterans first, and I do coordinate that with the system. Wednesdays is normally my day. That's when they normally come in. I have the community service people come in on Wednesdays. That's when I'm there, and I am authorized to sign.
In your opinion, did Waypoint typically give 4 hours prior to COVID, and during COVID, most people have only received 2 hours per shift?
That's pretty much so. We're probably mostly limited to 2 hours a week. Our place is not very big. They can do it in a couple of hours. So here for the last several months, they've only been able to give a couple of hours a week.
Are you familiar with Miss Jamila?
Yes, I'm familiar with her, yes.
Have you ever given her permission to oversee community service in your absence?
No.
Are you aware if anyone else has ever provided Miss Jamila permission to sign off on community service work?
I'm not aware of that.
Are you familiar with Mr. Tolbert doing community service at Waypoint?
No, I'm not.
Your Honor, I rest.
Mr. Tolbert, do you have any questions you want to ask this witness?
No, sir.
All right, you may step down. You sure before I release him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Ms. Brownlee, I'm so sorry. Miss, you all may both be released from your subpoenas. You may stay or go as you please. All right, Ms. Matthews, call your next witness for arrest.
I rest.
Okay. Mr. Tolbert, you have already testified, and I said earlier I wasn't going to allow it, but if you wish to testify to anything additional, I will allow you at this point. You'll remain in your seat and you'll use that microphone. Is there anything else you want to tell me about your case?
Well, no, sir, Your Honor. Like I told you, I'm good people. I'm sorry this whole situation had even come to court. Like, I just, I didn't know that it would have been such of a hassle doing my community service because I'm not with messing up or doing anything wrong. I didn't know that it was going to go left like this. If that the case, I would have went somewhere else. Like I said, when I saw it on the paper that it said Waypoint, I immediately knew that my wife was a community liaison. So I inquired about that, and we went out and we did things in the community. She's a community liaison, so in the community, passing out flyers, securing donations from vendors and everything. So of course I'm thinking I'm doing my due diligence. If I didn't know that the situation would have went this way, of course I would have just complied with it. I wasn't not trying to be out of compliance with anything. I just didn't know that it would be a hassle doing it that way. I would have done it another place or anything. Even there's a couple other places, the Georgia Food Resource Center. I would have did that. Trying to.
Sure, we have a huge list of.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what it was. So I'm just thinking, everything is secure and everything is good. I did my due diligence, so I did my part, and I'm just,
So who signed this for Miss Brownlee?
Huh?
You're saying you turned this document in?
Yeah, apparently my wife. See, the thing is, she thought. She talked with Miss Brownlee. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Miss Judge. Like, that's the whole thing. I'm like, she said she spoke with Miss Brownlee and everything. So everything. Like I say, I don't know Miss Brownlee. I never met her, but I have spoken with her on the phone. And I was under the assumption she said that she everything was all right.
Okay.
Just to be honest with you, like I told you, this is the last place I want to be right now. I got a lot of stuff going on, kids, trying to school, like that's all I was saying. It was Miss Matthews. I don't have nothing with Miss Matthews. I understand her actually. If something seems that way, but I'm trying to let her know, like, no, nothing that I knew, So, like I said, I don't, I'm just I'm just here. I'm just trying to figure it out. It would have been a totally different situation, to be honest with you, and
Mr. Tolbert, do you have any other questions? Do you have anything else you want me to know as far as your testimony goes?
No, sir.
All right. Do you have any witnesses you wish to call on your behalf?
Yeah, I'd like to call my wife.
All right, come on up, man.
She can put clarity to the situation.
All right, ma'am, you're gonna come straight on up and grab this seat over here to my right. All right, so go ahead and take your seat there, ma'am. And raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, take your hand down, lean into that mic with a mask on, and state your full name for the court reporter.
Jaleel Tolbert.
And state where you work.
I work for a nursing agency, and I also work as the community liaison at Waypoint.
All right, and your home address.
321 East Quarter Street, Griffin, Georgia, 30223.
All right, so just sit tight. You may ask her your first question.
Ms. Jamila, like, could you put, what is the situation that's going on right now in the courtroom? Could you enlighten everyone on the whole situation that's going on?
Yes. Pretty much the reason why everyone is here is because of me. I did not go through the proper channels of the security, community service. I did sign with Sandra name. I do the community work, in the community for as, when we have events, I pass out flyers, I get vendors, I get donations. We didn't do one last year, I did one 2 years ago, and during that time, the person that was over the community service allowed me to use, people in the community service to go into the community and sign. So I did it again this time, it was 2 years ago, that I was allowed to do. He is my husband, and I figured that, when he lost his job, that, cause he was going in every week and paying his money, but once he lost his job, he got community service, and I told him he can just work with me. He don't know the ins and outs, so he was just thinking that he do the job with me and sign. He didn't understand that, how to say it, the logistic part of it. He did the community service, but everybody's here because didn't, go through all the proper channels. But, I did the same thing, 2 years ago when I did the Veterans Day program. I got people from, the community service and they worked with me in the field. The person that was over the community service then allowed me to do it. So I turned around and pretty much did the same thing I did 2 years ago. So, Your Honor, pretty much, like I say, everybody's here because of me. And I'm not gonna get here and lie in the court about anything. So Ms. Sandra, like I say, she wasn't on the community service, even when I did it 2 years ago. It was another person, and I pretty much just did the same thing that I did 2 years ago. So Mr. Tolbert, all he knows is he did it, he worked with me in the community, he helped pass out flyers. We don't just do it here in Griffin. We go to Macon, we go to Atlanta. When I do these events, it's not just Griffin, it's a lot of good work. I get a lot of money coming in, it's a lot of going to different, facilities. We travel all over Metro Atlanta. I'm very successful at these events. Ms. Costanza can tell you that. I get 400 or 500 people to come to these events. I get a lot of money raised, but it's not something that one person can do. So I get other people to help me, got community service people to help me. When I did the event 2 years ago, and I just like I say, we here because of me. Nobody, just over here because of me, Ms. Sandra and Mr. Rich. Because I'm the person who didn't do the paperwork right. Mr. Tolbert, he did the community service with me because he was not working at the time. And we just waiting, that's why he asked for community service. Before then, he was paying every week. Like he said before, he didn't come during COVID. He missed a day, he called in. And my daughter was involved in a hit and run accident, February 23rd. She would walk across the street and got hit. And so we was in ICU for a couple weeks in Savannah, and Mr. Tolbert was there with me.
I'm so very sorry about
Yeah, and, so during that time, he did call in. But I made sure he did go to, he never reported on a Wednesday. He always reported on a Friday. And I would say, and it never was an issue. So he did report on Friday. He did miss when we was in Savannah. And then during COVID, I remember he missed a time. I can't say he didn't miss a time, so he probably missed two times while we was in Savannah, and he missed, going in, cause actually, we didn't think we were gonna need to, it was cold, we thought everything was closed. And he didn't realize until the next week, and I remember he called in, but he always, if he missed, he always called in. So far as the, not failing to, report, that's not true. But for as, I can see why they want the, get clarification on the, community service, but he only missed those times when I reported, but he always called in. But like I say, Your Honor, I take full responsibility of the paperwork not being correct. Because like I say, he don't know the gist of it. He was just going by what I told him that it was gonna be okay. You know, he never did down there, so that's on me. And I can say, I was going over, how I was allowed to do it 2 years ago. Cause we didn't have no Veterans Day last year. So the last event I did was 2 years ago. And I was allowed to, that person who was over community service, they allowed me to use, people that came in on community service. And the days that we have 4 hours, those are days that we actually travel outside of Griffin. Because when I would use the other community service people, we would also count the drive time for, the time, part of the time. So anything that's over 2 hours, that was outside the local Griffin area. So Mr. Tolbert, he's upset, but he's like, I did it, but I never explained to him the logistic part, and I did tell him about, the signature part, so I say, that's how I did it 2 years ago. So that's why he's probably upset, cause he like, I know I did it, and my wife said that it was okay, but I didn't know.
Okay.
So I take full responsibility for how everybody took it, like
And, give me your full name again.
Jamila Tolbert.
Okay, Ms. Tolbert. Anything else you want me to know?
Oh, no, sir.
Anything else you want to ask her? Okay. Ms. Matthews, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Ms. Tolbert?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Ms. Jamila, are you familiar with Mr. Stevens at Waypoint and his position?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you not agree that Mr. Stevens should have been involved in any community service work completed at Waypoint due to his position that he stated on record?
Yes, ma'am.
Under oath, are you stating that Mr. Tolbert actually completed all 49 hours that you have documented on the community service log?
Yes, ma'am.
How many people's community service log have you signed for?
2 in all.
2?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, who? What?
I said 2 in all.
You signed for somebody else?
Yeah, I
Who?
told you, I said back in the back, I signed, for another person.
Who?
When I can't remember the name off top, I don't want to give you the wrong name.
You mean there's someone else with Sandra Brownlee's signature that you signed that did community service work with me?
Yes, sir.
And you don't know who it is?
I can't remember the name off front. I don't want to lie, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Ms. Matthews.
Ms. Jamila, when you came in my office on September 25th, did you not tell me that Mr. Tolbert did not complete all those hours because y'all wanted more time together, that you extended some of the dates and he did not actually complete the work?
No, ma'am.
Under oath, Ms. Tolbert, you're stating that you did not tell me that you extended the hours that you signed on the paper.
I didn't tell you, no, you said that we want to spend more time together. That's why he did, no, I did not say that. You miss,
Okay,
what I'm saying.
disregard the statement of spending time together.
But
Did you
just
not
said-
tell
but
me?
But you just said that we want to spend, why would I want him to do community service instead of time so we can spend time together when we already spending time together, at home, and he's helping me with the community service, so, no, I did not say I want him to, that don't make sense. We spend all day home together, we do everything together, so I wouldn't say I want him to extend the hours. why would I wanna extend the hours so we can spend more time together when we always together every day? So no, I did not say that. I'm being truthful, I'm even saying I'm doing more, so no, I did not tell you that we spend more time together, no.
Okay. Please disregard the statement of spend time together.
You already
Did you not
said
tell
that.
me?
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say what you just said.
Let me rephrase the question.
You already said that,
Hold
but.
on, let's see if she can,
Okay,
I'm not quite sure where she's going, but I'll give her another chance to rephrase it.
yes, sir.
Did you not tell me that the hours on the sheet, some days he did not work all hours that you documented, that you extended the hours on the paper some days? So he would necessarily may have completed 2, but you wrote down 4, for an example.
No, ma'am.
Have you ever been permitted to sign Ms. Brownlee's signature on any other documentation for Waypoint?
No, ma'am. I signed the last person, that was over community service.
What days does Waypoint allow community service and time?
That I'm not for sure, cause I'm just going by when we did it last time, 2 years ago, and it was every day that we was open. Cause a lot of community service is not just done in the building at Waypoint, it's also done outside of Waypoint.
Mr. Stevens states that the community service is, as the community service coordinator, is completed within the building. Is that incorrect?
That's correct. Now, I was saying that when I was able to do it 2 years ago, that's how it was, and I didn't know that it was directly at the, center now. I recently haven't too long returned back to the, center, so a lot of things had changed, and I did not know that. Like I say, I was out for the majority of the year due to my daughter's, hit and run accident, and I stayed in Savannah with her until she could drive again, so she had like 8 fractures, broken neck and all that kind of stuff, so a lot of things had changed since the last time I did it, so like I said, I'm taking responsibility because, like I say, when I did it 2 years ago, I was able to do this. So I didn't know that I wasn't able to do it this time. That's why I'm being honest with the court. I'm responsible for this because I signed the paper like I was allowed to sign it, 2 years ago. And do it outside of Waypoint. So I didn't know that they had changed it to, they was only working. Once we opened up for COVID, I didn't understand. Like I say, I haven't been, the majority of the year, I wasn't at Waypoint and everything due to, my daughter's accident. So I didn't know that they had changed the logistic part of Mr. Stevens. So I'm telling the court that I did sign the paperwork. I'm responsible for not going through the, proper channels of the paperwork. So I am the person at fault here. I'm the person at fault. I'm not gonna, try to downplay anything that I did it. I signed the paperwork. Like I say, I didn't understand that everything had changed because I haven't been at Waypoint, most of this year, at the end of the year, due to my daughter's, accident. So, I'm a caution on it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Howard. Ms. Matthews, do you have any other questions?
No, Your Honor, I rest.
All right, you may step down now. Mr. Tolbert, do you have any other witnesses to call? All right, we're gonna take a quick break from this one, don't move. I've got to handle this Thompson because Judge Miller is waiting on the virtual system, and this case took longer than I anticipated. So we're gonna pivot real quick, so mark on the transcript break. We're gonna pivot over to Alexander Thompson, because I gotta get this matter closed, so Judge Miller can have the system. Mr. Thompson, is that you that I'm seeing sitting in the jail out there?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thompson, your case is 17 SR 1335. Will you and Ms. Matthews both please raise your right hands? Do you both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All
I
right,
do.
take your hands down. Mr. Thompson, because you are incarcerated, you have the absolute right to have an attorney represent you at this probation hearing. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And if you ask me to reset your case for 2 weeks, I would do that and give you an opportunity to apply with the Public Defender's Office, and you'd be guaranteed representation. You understand you have that option?
Yes, sir.
You can also waive your right to have an attorney and go forward today without one if you so choose. Do you understand your options?
Yes, sir.
What do you want to do?
We can proceed.
All right, I'm looking at this. It says you missed some report dates. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that you did not pay your fines and fees? I'm sorry, did not use community service work to get caught up when you got behind on your fines and fees?
Correct.
You missed a report date. You missed a court date with me on February 28th of 2019.
Correct.
And you received new felony charges on September 13th of 2020, including shoplifting, possession of a controlled substance, and with intent to distribute.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and felony obstruction of an officer. Okay, I am going to find Mr. Thompson having admitted to his violations, that there's enough for me to find that he's willfully violated his probation. Mr. Thompson, am I correct that you're no bonded on your felony charges? Am I correct on that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Matthews, how many days do I have left on this case?
Judge, there are 356 days remaining.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, I'm gonna find with your new felonies, as well as the fact that, according to my notes, you've never once ever reported. Am I reading that correct, Ms. Matthews?
Yes, Judge, you are.
That you are not a candidate for probation. I'm revoking 200 days and terminating the balance. Does he have any consecutive cases I need to factor in?
No, Your Honor, he does not.
Mr. Thompson, do you have any questions for me?
What? I don't know what just happened.
So I asked you if you violated your probation, and you said yes.
Uh-huh.
And so I then looked at how much time you had left, and
Okay.
instead of revoking 356, I extended a little bit of grace to you, and I only revoked 200 of it, and then I terminated the balance.
Okay. Okay.
So I didn't give you a lot of grace, I gave you a little bit of grace.
Okay.
So, but Mr. Thompson, you're still no bonded on your felonies, so you gotta go sort that out. And I think that's gonna be a bit of a difficult road, because I also show a felony probation hold on you that has also got a grasp on you. So your chances of getting out in the next 200 days, if I might just call it statistically, are statistically unlikely. But that's between you and a Superior Court judge.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Thompson, later on today, you're gonna get pulled out of your cell, and they're gonna present you with this document, and you'll need to sign here acknowledging how I've modified your sentence. Is that gonna be okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, don't forget, you gotta work out a bond on your new charges, as well as you've gotta figure out what to do with 17R406, which is a felony probation hold on you. Okay?
Okay.
You be safe, Mr. Thompson. All right, done. That's my last jail case, so I'm sure Judge Miller is anxiously awaiting me to finish. So if somebody
sir.
will please let Judge Miller know that I'm done and the system is his.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Don.
A participant has left the meeting.
Okay, so, that's Mr. Thompson. We're back on record with Mr. Tolbert. Mr. Tolbert, before we took the break, your wife had just finished testifying. You've already testified. Do you have any other witnesses you wish to call?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you rest at this point?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you rested, which means that if you want to, you have the right at this moment to do what's called a closing argument. It's just where you sum up the case and tell me why I shouldn't revoke your probation. Would you like to do a closing argument?
Yes, sir, sure.
All right, so lean into the microphone and tell me why I shouldn't revoke 35 days to the Spalding County Jail.
Well, sir, like I told you, honestly, I'm a good person. I don't have a record, like a very bad record. Like, this is suspended license and obstruction. You know, which is, you know, just, you know, situation happened. I didn't know, even with that situation. I planned on paying this whole thing off. When Ms. Howell told me that y'all want to pay 2 months in advance early or something like that, that threw me off. Like, that would threw me the whole case off. I was like, how y'all make somebody pay 2 months? Because I planned on paying it off. You know, but.
Are you talking about the finish within 10 months instead of 12?
Yeah.
Okay, that's me. I said that I wanted time to, just to help you answer that question, I said that I wanted everybody to finish what they needed to do within 10 months so that if there was an issue, I would have 60 days to respond and correct or address or modify or whatever.
Oh, okay.
That's my policy because it gives me 60 days at the end of somebody's probation to waive the fees or whatever.
I never knew that at the beginning.
Well, I mean, she told you the policy, I'm telling you the why. So, all right, go ahead, Mr. Tolbert.
Well, yeah, so she, you know, I found that out too that day, and I didn't know. So I made a rash decision to do community service. And like I told you, like when I saw Waypoint was on it, I was like, okay, well, I went there and I made the decision to ask to inquire about the Waypoint of community service, which, like I said, you know, my wife told me that, you know, you this, and like we went and did everything, and I'm just thinking the situation was handled, you know, because she's on the board, and like I'm willing to pay. If I could pay it, I wouldn't pay it today, or like you know, to get it out the way, because if that were the case, I would have never got off of it, and I just would have, you know, I would have got it paid by, you know, the end. That's the thing, but it just threw me off because I lost the job. And so I was like, well, I can work, I can do community service because I'm not working right now. And that's the only issue. Ms. Matthews, you know, I've had a good rapport with Ms. Matthews. And so, like I said, I even understand why she even was thinking I'm trying to, you know, do something sneaky or messed up, but honestly, I wasn't. You know, and like I say, you judge, like I apologize for the courtroom. I'm not used to this. I don't do court and jail.
It's all right. We talked it through, got back on the same page, and
like again,
got back on it.
But you know, I'm good people, and you know, I'm jail right now is just not. I don't want to go to jail. Nobody want to go to jail.
Sure.
But you know, we can come with anything other than jail. You know, revoking or just let me finish it out or something. You know, there's our asset on the court to do that. But like I said, I'm good people. I'm not. I hate how Miss Sandra and, you know, Mr. Richard in here, and just, you know, the whole situation. It's one of those that I just wish just didn't have to go this way, or didn't even have to come to this today.
Sure.
And out of that, you know, just.
Wait, anything else, Mr. Tolbert?
No, sir.
Ms. Matthews, any other closing remarks before I make my decision?
Judge, I would just say that it's clear that Ms. Jamila was not authorized to sign. It's clear that no one else has ever received this many hours per week from Waypoint. So this defendant has been shown favoritism, and I believe that's not fair to anyone else if they're going to state that these hours are true. And they seem to have avoided all the proper channels and people that are in place to avoid any situation like this to occur. There's a contract in place. Ms. Brownlee, Mr. Stevens followed that contract. They're aware of that contract. And again, that's why the contract with the court is in place, so we don't have these situations. And the defendant does not find himself in the situation that Mr. Tolbert is in today.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Matthews?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Evidence is closed. Closing arguments are in. My ruling is as follows. The framework that I'm required to make this decision today is whether or not he has violated his probation. The standard is by preponderance of the evidence, which is essentially for lack of a better term, 51% instead of a proof beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the highest standard under the law. So therefore, I find that there is a sufficient amount of evidence for me to find by preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Tolbert has violated. For the record, there are two violations that I'm considering. Number one, failure to report as ordered. Mr. Tolbert denied that allegation, and there was testimony in the record that he missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 report dates. Much more important though is number two, in that he provided 39, there's an allegation of 49, but 39 is what's on the paperwork, community service work hours that could not be verified. I find that the testimony of the witnesses, starting with Ms. Brownlee, is that State's Exhibit 1, which was presented to me prior to the hearing today, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 Sandra Brownlee signatures on this matter. Ms. Brownlee reviewed State's Exhibit 1 and testified without equivocation. Those are not her signature, and that she did not give anyone permission to sign her signature. There's also the testimony from Mr. Richard Stevens, who is in charge of the community service work at Waypoint, who testified that he also did not approve these hours. And then finally, Ms. Jamila Tolbert, Jameelah, and now Tolbert, as they are married, testified that this was her responsibility, that this was her fault, and that she did not follow the proper procedures. I also find that there was testimony from Ms. Matthews in trying to investigate this thing, that she did talk to Miss Tolbert, and that she did initially state that she was a friend of Mr. Tolbert's, even though she was his wife. I'm going to find that our system is in place properly to prevent fraud such as this. I'm going to find that after reviewing it, and this is a side note for Waypoint's benefit, that it is clear to me that Waypoint is doing a diligent job, a proper job. They have the proper people in place to follow the procedures, unlike other hearings like this where the end of it resulted in both a revocation and a removal of that provider. I'm going to find that I have found no evidence whatsoever that Waypoint was lax or not diligent or improperly executing or anything. I'm going to find, for lack of a better term, that they cannot reasonably foresee, which is the law, that without prior notice you cannot reasonably foresee the criminal acts of third parties. And so I'm going to find no fault to Waypoint whatsoever, and I wanted that to be on the record, and I wanted that to be very clear that Waypoint is approved Ms. Matthews to continue providing community service work. I also am going to find, pivoting to Mr. Tolbert, that I do see, despite the protestations, I do see a very clear intention of Mr. Tolbert to avoid the proper channels. Despite his wife's testimony that this is her responsibility, she is not the probationer, and Mr. Tolbert carries the 100% sole responsibility of ensuring that his probation is 100% in compliance. I also just need to note for the record that my mentor and previous state court judge, Sid Essery, bumped into this issue regularly. He got so sick and tired of these hearings that by the time he retired, all that was allowed was for the probationers to gather in a group on a Saturday and pick up cans on the side of the road, and that way you had one officer signing off on all of it, because he just got sick and tired of these hearings. And I told him that I thought he was being a curmudgeon, and that we could trust people, and that people would make the right choices. And every time I have one of these hearings, I hear Judge Essery in the back of my mind telling me that this is why he did what he did. Because anytime you give people a system, there will be a small percentage of people who will, in my opinion, intentionally not follow the system. Therefore, I am going to respond in the harshest way I can, because I want to make certain that anyone who watches this video and everybody sees out there, that if you had come to me, Mr. Tolbert, and said, I'm having a difficult time getting my community service work done, we would have extended it. If you said, I can't pay my supervision fees, I could have waived it. If you had gone to Waypoint and said, hey, I'm not certain we're following the right procedure, we probably could have talked that through. But the fact that you found a community service work provider that your family was going to supervise you on is, to me, a huge red flag that any reasonable person would have immediately said, this is not a correct procedure. It would be no more correct than if my wife got a speeding ticket out in the county and I presided over her trial. That immediately fails the smell test. Anyone looking at it would immediately go, well, there's no way Judge Thacker can reasonably and impartially make the guilt or innocence decision on his own wife. There's no way I can trust that your family is properly doing this. So I don't know how else to say that any longer, but the fact of the matter is that you lied to me. You lied to Waypoint, and you and your family intentionally and willfully and knowingly sidestepped my system and their system that they signed off on to give you hours that you did not deserve. The lying is what gets my blood boiling. And so with that, I'm going to revoke every single inch of your probation that I can. So let me be very clear. If you had 720 days left, I would absolutely revoke 720 days and never look back. Sadly, for me, I only have 35 days left. But guess what? Your probation is revoked for 35 days, and you're going to spend the next 35 days in the Spalding County Jail. You may go with the deputies. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal my decision. I'm not asking him to sign it.
Yes, sir.
I have no intention of re-engaging. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just a public service announcement, and for everybody who's watching this Facebook, if you have problems, this is a tough year. Just communicate with your probation officer and we'll work with you. I just want to make certain that is extremely clear. I'm waiving fees left and right. We're giving away community service work by watching Facebook at home. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. We're going to take a break because it's in everybody's best interest for me to take a few minutes to calm down. I'll be back on the bench at 10:40 and we'll finish up the count.
Judge, can I speak to you? Thank you.
Okay, let's jump back in. Welcome, Mr. Walker. You're tag teaming in, huh? Alright, so,
He didn't respond, I don't know if he did.
yeah, I think I'm muted still. Now I'm unmuted. Mr. Walker, you there? Maybe he's got his turned off. You there?
Hey,
Hey, good, hello. You ready to go, Mr. Walker?
yes, sir.
Alright. Welcome to, I guess you tagged in for Miss Matthews.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so I'm gonna let you mute it and use the space bar, and we're gonna jump into the rest of the calendar. I'm gonna start at the top and work my way to the bottom. So, let's start with Criterius Askin. Criterius Askin, present. If you'll come up to the podium, please. Good morning, Mr. Askin.
Good morning, how you doing?
I'm doing well. If you and Mr. Walker would both please raise your right hands. Do you both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're both sworn. Mr. Askin, you're here on 19 TK 4158 because you are on our pretrial diversion program, and it looks like your probation officer filed paperwork with me alleging that you're out of compliance with that probation. Do you understand? It's not probation, it's supervision. Do you understand what you're doing here today?
Yes, sir.
You ready to go forward?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Askin, the petition says that you missed some report dates. Did you miss some report dates?
Yes, sir.
And did you get behind, did you not use community service work to get caught up after getting behind on your fines and fees?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, no prior revocations. Mr. Askin, it looks like if you and I just kind of did a restart here, you could probably get it back into compliance. Am I thinking that correctly?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, why don't we do just that then? So, it's been a tough year, and these are, standard, kind of mild violations. So, I'm gonna mark that you've admitted to the 2 violations. I'm going to allow you to remain in the pretrial diversion program, because I wanna see you finish it and get your record cleaned up, okay? I'm also going to have you, is this a terminate upon completion, Mr. Walker?
It's terminated upon payment.
Okay, great. So, I'm gonna have you report weekly, until your case is closed. But that is entirely up to you. So literally the moment you get everything finished, it'll close.
Okay.
I am gonna need though to well, no, this is a pretrial version, so. Mr. Walker, do you need anything else from me on this one?
No, sir.
Mr. Askin, do you have any questions for me as to how I've modified your supervision?
No, sir.
Okay. Don't forget that you can always do community service work to get caught up. And I just want to put you in a spot where you can just get your case closed and be done with it.
Okay.
All right, anything else you need from me?
My next report date.
Oh, thank you. It's right here, and I forgot to put it on here.
Okay.
Your next report date, Mr. Askin, thank you for that. All right, next report date, and you're gonna get a copy of this for you later.
Okay.
Is going to be by phone on October 13th, 2020, between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. All right, good question. Any other good questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, I'm gonna have you sign this, Mr. Askin, and then the bailiffs will give you a copy before you leave.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, he's good. Looks like, my next case is Aaron Hall. Is Aaron Hall present? Yes, sir. Mr. Hall, as soon as the bailiff's finished cleaning that spot up, if you'll step up to the podium for me. Okay, Mr. Hall, Mr. Walker, y'all both please raise your right hands. You both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, you both sworn. Mr. Hall, you're here on 19 SR 442 because your probation officer has filed paperwork with me alleging that you're out of compliance with your probation. Do you understand what you're doing here today?
Yes, sir.
You ready to go forward with your hearing?
Yes, sir.
It says here that you missed some report dates, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I missed one at first. I hadn't missed them, so Ms. Howard, she took care of that.
Okay.
We got on one accord, so then before I came to court, she told me to catch it up. I paid $364, so I paid that last Friday
Was that on your city case or on this case?
on this case.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then, you got behind on your fines and fees.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Walker, has, Mr. Hall been putting efforts in the last couple of weeks to get his case back on track?
Hold on, Judge, I'm checking.
Yes, sir. While he's doing that, I know some things I'm definitely gonna do, so I need to put on the record while Mr. Walker's checking that you have admitted to the violations,
Yes, sir.
and therefore there's enough for me to find that you violated your probation.
Yes, sir.
I already know that I'm gonna order your next report date, to be, by phone,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's gonna be on October 13th,
Yes, sir.
2020, between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Yes, sir.
All right, and the reason I'm asking Mr. Walker is I'm trying to figure out, how long to put Mr. Hall on, zero tolerance.
Okay, Judge, I do see where he made a significant payment on October the 2nd. He is a no ET.
Okay,
He's only missed one report date recently.
okay, so you clearly been putting efforts. Well, I'm gonna reward that, and I'm gonna only put you on zero tolerance for 30 days.
Yes, sir.
And so in the next 30 days, just make certain that you're
Yes, sir.
absolutely on the spot.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have you report weekly until your case is back in compliance, and it sounds like you've already substantially gotten it there.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hall, do you have any questions as to the modifications I've made to your sentence?
No, sir. I'm good.
All right, so let me get you to sign this. I'm gonna date it for you. And, your next report date is gonna be by phone on October 13th. Easter. All right, next case would be McDuffie. Are you DeAnthony McDuffie? Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. McDuffie. If you and Mr. Walker will both please raise your right hands. Do you both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. McDuffie, your case is 19 TK 5649. You're here today because the probation officers filed paperwork with me alleging that you're out of compliance with your probation. Do you understand what you're doing here today? Yes, sir. You ready to go forward with your hearing? Yes, sir. Mr. McDuffie, all right. Mr. McDuffie, it says here that you did not use community service work to get caught up after getting behind on your fines and fees. Is that correct? Yes, sir. And that you have not yet turned in a defensive driving school certificate of completion. Yes, sir. Have you completed the class and just need to turn the certificate in, or do you need to schedule the class?
I got the schedule actually, because of COVID, everybody I've been trying to contact me and pushing it back, so I got the schedule on, which I'm in the process of doing it today.
Okay, and I just want you to know, the only reason I was asking is because I'm obviously gonna give you a reset to get that done. I just wanna make sure I gave you enough time to
Yes,
set
sir.
it up. I've got 146 days left, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna have you do a your defensive driving course within 45 days.
Yes, sir.
Does that give you enough time?
That's fine, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Obviously, the earlier you get it done, the better.
Yes, sir.
So defensive driving course within 45 days. And that means the certificate of completion is delivered to probation within 45 days.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna find, I forgot to say this, I'm gonna find with your admission that you willfully violated your probation. I'm gonna have you report weekly until your case is, actually, this is a terminate upon completion. Is that correct?
As far as the defensive driving?
Yes, sir.
No, I just meant your whole case. So, okay, well, what's his balance due? Mr. Walker, I'm sorry.
$1,515 in the defensive driving school, Judge.
Okay, then because that's a bit of a substantial amount, I'm gonna have you report and test weekly just until your case is back into compliance, not instead of until it's closed like I normally do with these. I am gonna place you on zero tolerance for 30 days.
Yes, sir.
Because you're not significantly out of compliance, but I do want to remind you that your case is a terminate upon completion. So the moment you can get these things done, and just remember, we're never a cash-only court. If you're having issues with your fees, your supervision fees, you can see about waiving them. If you're having issues with paying your fine, you can work all that off with community service work. So I just want to remind you that you have options.
Yes, sir.
That you can complete. Okay. Any other questions for me?
No, but can I say something, please?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I just started this new job here, and I've already talked to Ms. Howard yesterday, and she told me that for my supervision fee was $270, and I informed her that my first paycheck I get next Friday, which is 16th, and I told her I make that payment $270.
Okay.
And I'm also doing community service hours also now this time.
Perfect, and that's exactly why we offer that, so that you can have all kinds of options and tools, and you can pick a little bit of here and a little bit of there and get it all lined up in one big picture, so. All right, can I answer any other questions for you, Mr. McDuffie?
No, sir.
All right, if you'll sign that with the bailiff, and we'll give you a copy before you leave. All right, while he's doing that, Mr. Rittenhour dropped out, I'm gonna let him back in.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Where's my next check?
Did I put it on there?
He's on it.
Well, let me have it back then. First mistake I've ever made in my whole career. So, your next report date is gonna be by phone on October 13th, 2020, and you're gonna call between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. All right, I've written it on there. Don't leave till you get a copy.
Can I go check in? Cause I just moved down here.
You go check in?
I just moved down here.
Okay, so their office is behind the Burger King back there.
Okay.
All right, and I've got somebody in my lobby that's just a phone number. Nope, they're gone. So, all right, well, let's pivot over then to Mr. Rittenhour. All right, Mr. Rittenhour, can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Rittenhour, let's go ahead and place both of you under oath. Will you both raise your right hand? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Rittenhour, your case is 20 SR 314, and just for record purposes, you have elected to report virtually. Is it okay with you if we have this hearing over this video conference system?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rittenhour, you're here today because your probation officers filed paperwork alleging that you're out of compliance with your probation. You understand what you're doing here today?
Yes, sir.
You ready to go forward?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rittenhour, I'm going to make a note here that you reported virtually to court. Okay. It says here that you missed some report dates. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that you got behind on, no, I'm so sorry. That one's fixed. They removed number 2. Number 3 says that you did not provide proof of your community service work that you completed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So have you completed it and not provided proof, or do you need time to complete it?
I need a little bit more time to complete it. I've been sick the past month or so, and I just got out of the hospital. I was in there for 9 days for kidney failure and a few things. So I just haven't had means to really do community service, and I have surgery on Tuesday to have my gallbladder removed. So
I'm so very sorry, Mr. Rittenhour.
So it would be an additional, thank you. It would be an additional like 10 days at least after my surgery before I could actually do any physical work and be comfortable with it. So,
Well, and don't forget, you can always do your community service work by watching this Facebook feed and then turning in a summary of what I did that day.
I'll do that then.
Yeah, that's a new COVID feature that's served everybody well because so many people were stuck at home. And you clearly sound like you're one of those that may qualify for that. So email your probation officer, which is Mr. Walker, and he'll provide you with those details. And Mr. Walker, really quickly, so he's virtual, but because he's sick, he doesn't really have the ability to move about. I would normally have him report in person on the 13th to sign it. Talk to Ms. Matthews there for real quick and tell me how you want me to handle his signature on this document or what.
We could email it to him today, and then he could try. Well, he needs to have it back to us by Friday with his signature on it.
Mr. Rittenhour, do you have the ability to sign, scan, and email?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that'll work then. So I'm gonna put, what is the term we use these days? Medically, they talk about the folks that are medically, not sensitive, but medically,
You're restricted.
yeah.
And I have all the paperwork from Emory right here. I can fax over.
Those were gonna be the next words out of my mouth, Mr. Rittenhour, which is that I want you to provide, all that, or I want you to provide enough of that to probation so that they can have something in the record that shows the medical struggles you have, since we're gonna have you do all this virtually.
Yes, sir.
All right, so.
Judge, Mr. Rittenhour did make a significant payment a couple of days ago, right before his court date. But I haven't talked to Mr. Rittenhour, so if he would have communicated with me, then we possibly wouldn't even be here today. We could have addressed this issue.
I am so aware of that. So, Mr. Rittenhour, if you'll just communicate with a little more effort going forward, we can keep you off all future calendars, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, Mr. Rittenhour, I'm sorry, Mr. Walker, do you need any other contact information from Mr. Rittenhour to get the conversation going between you two?
No, sir. I don't think anything's changed with his address or phone number that I have in my system.
Mr. Rittenhour, any information changed?
No, it hasn't. No, sir.
Okay,
So I
and y'all have
just
good
need,
email?
when would be the time to call him?
Well, you're gonna call on, you're gonna call in on October 13th between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., but way before then, you're gonna get an email from Mr. Walker. What's your email address?
Sheppy, Sheps. It's SHEPPY, SHEPPS.
No, you totally broke up. Can you start over?
Yeah, it's SHEPPY HEPPS at yahoo.com.
Mr. Walker, did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I did not, it broke up, so. All right, you'll get an email, Mr. Rittenhour, with this document attached to it from Mr. Walker. Electronically sign it and return it before Friday, close of business. And then call on October 13th, 2020 between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Rittenhour, anything else?
That's it.
And you understand that you're on zero tolerance for the next 30 days, so you gotta get all this stuff lined up so we can quit talking about it, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Rittenhour, I'm gonna remove you from the system, okay?
All right. Sir.
Thank you. He's clear. All right, Mr. Walker, as best I can tell, that covers page 1.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move forward to page 2 then. Christy Whitmire. Hi, you're Christy Whitmire.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Whitmire and Mr. Walker, you'll both please raise your right hands. You both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're both sworn. Ms. Whitmire, your case is 20 SR 84. You're here today because your probation officer filed paperwork with me alleging that you're out of compliance with your probation. You understand what you're doing here, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
You ready to go forward with your hearing?
Yes, sir.
All right, it says here, Ms. Whitmire, that on your case, and I'm pulling it up right now, you signed a consent order securing your release from jail, and agreeing to certain terms back on August 25th of 2020, and that you failed to comply with those terms. The terms being that you would check in monthly, sign a release, so that we could check in with the Still Waters Outreach Program, and that you failed to do that. Did you fail to comply with the terms of that order?
You said I signed it from jail?
Judge, it wasn't jail, it was treatment.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I was like, wait a minute.
Sorry, 99% of those were signed from people at the jail, and I assumed, and obviously you should never assume. So,
Yes, sir.
I should have said that for some reason you were unable, and it was more expedient for you to sign the consent order. Thank you, Mr. Walker, and I'm sorry to scare you this
Can I
way.
explain,
Yes, please do.
sir? I was in a situation where I wasn't allowed to be around my fiance at that time. I wasn't trying to go to a treatment center, but the women's shelters were closed at that time, or I couldn't get in with my son. And so the only other thing that I could do is go to a detox, and I'm like, for what? So I said alcohol. And then they placed me at Stillwater, which I didn't know, was gonna be that kind of treatment thing. And now I'm allowed to be around my fiance, and we got a little 3.5-year-old, and I've got him in pre-K. I got a job interview to go to next Thursday.
Okay.
At Dollar General. Everything's going fine. I'm up to date. I just got a few more community service hours left, and then I'll be complete. And I got a payment now of $85 to pay Miss Howard. So it's like I put myself somewhere, but it wasn't a treatment center that I was trying to search for. It was a housing for me and my 3.5-year-old at the time, because we couldn't be around Kenny Young, my fiance. But now he's done went to court, so we got our stuff back, as a family.
All right.
Everything's going good.
Judge,
Yeah, Mr. Walker, I'm looking for a little more information from you. I'm trying to craft an appropriate response from the court.
the reason we brought Miss Whitmire to court is because she went to treatment without approval from you.
Ah, that's a perfect
So we
reason.
did the consent.
Yeah, perfect. That makes,
Attempt to hold her in the treatment center.
yeah, that makes
And she
perfect
did.
sense. Okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Thank you, Mr. Walker. All right, here's what we're gonna do, Ms. Whitmire. I am going to order you to complete a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days.
Okay,
Whatever the recommendation is from the evaluator is going to become part of your treatment, part of your program, part of your probation.
that's fine.
So if they recommend in-house treatment, then that's gonna become part of your probation. So whatever that recommendation is, and you're gonna turn that into, you're not gonna get it within 30 days, you're gonna turn in
Yes, sir.
the findings within 30 days. So I strongly suggest you get it done quicker than later. I'm also placing you on zero tolerance for the remainder of your case. Because I want to be able to respond quickly, which means that if you step out of line in any direction whatsoever, from now to the end of your case, I'm going to take a warrant first and figure it out second.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walker, does that corral Ms. Whitmire back in enough where you all feel like you have a handle on her case, or do you need anything additional from me? I'm open to suggestions.
Yes, sir. And we just need Ms. Whitmire to understand that she cannot run off to treatment without approval from the court.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that's why you're gonna follow the recommendation, because the recommendation is gonna become my order.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, I think that covers it. You're going to report next, the 13th by phone between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. You're actually going to, so Mr. Walker, let's walk me through how this is gonna work. So I'm having a report by phone on Tuesday, but I do want her tested each week. Do you want me to order her to report in person on a different day?
No, she can come in Tuesday.
Tuesday, so instead of by
10 to
phone,
10:30.
it's in person between 10 and 10:30, is that right, Mr. Walker?
Yes, sir.
All right, so forget the phone report. You're reporting in person on October 13th. It's between 10 and I'm gonna say 10:29.
Yes, sir.
So 10:30 is late. And you're on zero tolerance, which means that if you don't do exactly what I've said, then I'm gonna issue a warrant.
Yes, sir.
So.
Now, where do I go about the, evaluation?
When you can actually drop by there today if you want to
Or
grab.
do you go to McIntosh Trail or?
So, yeah, McIntosh
Okay.
Trail, you can choose whichever provider. We have a list of about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 approved providers. You can pick whichever one you prefer off the list. I do know McIntosh Trails is on the list. So, all right, any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, you're gonna sign this before you go so that you have a copy with you. And you'll see where I've corrected it from phone to in-person, October 13th, between 10 and 10:29 a.m.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Walker, does that cover it?
Yes, sir.
All right. And of course, don't go to treatment without my permission.
Yes, sir.
It's not your fault. We have some individuals who, every time they get in trouble, they run off to treatment and then I can't find them. And then they point at me and say, I'm keeping them from getting treatment.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Just wait over there by the door and
Yes,
I'll give you a copy. All right, the last one is a virtual one, Ms. Wynn, and then we'll address your case, ma'am. So let me grab Ms. Wynn. All right, Ms. Wynn, you there?
Yes.
All right, I can't see you, Ms. Wynn. If you have bad internet, that's okay. But if you have a good internet connection, I sure would love to turn your video on so I can see it. There we go, I see you. Hello, Ms. Wynn.
Hello.
All right, your baby is adorable. All right, so let's talk through your case. Mr. Walker, Ms. Wynn, y'all both please raise your right hands. You both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Wynn, your case is 19 SR 71. You're in our pretrial diversion program. Probation officers filed paperwork with me alleging that you're not in compliance with those terms. Do you understand what you're doing here today?
Yes.
This says here that you missed some report dates, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
and you got behind on your fines and fees and did not use community service work to get caught up. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna find with your admission that there's enough for me to find that you willfully violated your supervision. I am going to allow you to remain in the program at this time. I'm going to have you report weekly until your case is closed. This is a terminate upon completion, right, Mr. Walker?
Yes, sir.
And it currently qualifies for termination as soon as she's finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Ms. Wynn, I'm reading this correctly, according to Mr. Walker, that your case can close the moment you satisfied your obligations to the court. Do you understand that?
Yes. Miss Officer Matthews, she knows what I'm kind of going through. She has all my medical forms. I just had my baby in April, and me and her, it was actually on the news, contrasted COVID-19. So she has all of my. I've been keeping her updated on everything. This is why I haven't been in the public and all that to be able to do my community service or even pay, because right now I don't have a job. So thank you for telling me about the virtual, so I can email her about that, because I can sit here with my baby and just watch that.
And that, Ms. Wynn, is exactly why we offer it. In fact, there's several probationers watching your hearing right now and getting credit for those hours. So, that's our efforts to try to be flexible with people during this, wild and crazy year. So, okay, Ms. Wynn, I'm gonna have you report by phone on October 13th, between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. And then you'll report each week until your case is closed.
Okay.
Any questions, Ms. Wynn?
No, sir.
I'm in a note here that you did report virtually. Do you have the ability to scan an email? It's okay if you don't. You do?
Yes, I do. Officer Matthews, she has my email address.
Perfect. They're gonna email you this form and have you sign it and email it back by this Friday, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Walker, does that cover everything?
Yes, Judge.
All right. All right, Ms. Wynn, I really want to see you finish this program, okay, and get your record cleaned up.
Okay, thank you so much.
Do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, well, Ms. Wynn, I'm going to remove you from this end, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, ma'am, if you'll step up to the podium. Mr. Walker, we've got one more individual here who's not on the calendar, but we're going to figure it out. Ma'am, if you'll please tell me your name.
Takia Gregory.
Gregory?
Yes.
And Miss Gregory, you're saying that you have a case with me?
Okay, so this is the thing. I was involved in
Just keep it up, lean into the mic there.
I was involved in an accident on July 31st. The other person was at fault. They ran the red light and hit my car. And when I was at the hospital, the police officer came and they said that my license was suspended since January. I moved from Florida to Georgia. That's my first car and everything. And my insurance from Florida reported that I changed my insurance here to Georgia with a Georgia address. But I did not know that my license was suspended until July 31st.
All right, I just found you. Hold on. You were supposed to be here 2 days ago.
Oh.
At 9 o'clock. You are Takiah, T-A-K-I-Y-A-H, Gregory. Miss Gregory, your case appears, and there it is. Your case is on page 4 of the 9 a.m. calendar from Tuesday, and your middle name is Maria.
Yes, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I got the dates mixed up.
There are worse things you can do. We're gonna get your case back on track. What I'm gonna do, Miss Gregory, is I'm actually going to, plead you not guilty. Will you hand me one of the December
And I have
notices?
I have my receipt. I paid for my reinstatement for my license.
You're gonna bring that to your next court date, okay? I don't have the solicitor here to offer to let you do all that. Let's step on. She may have used them, that's what I'm thinking. She only uses them this week. She fills these out and this is how she tracks. Yeah. Okay. man. Oh, man. I've learned that lesson. All right, Ms. Gregory, your case is 20 TK 2565. I'm going to schedule you for calendar call on your case in December. I'm going to put you down for December 9th. At 1:30 p.m. You will have a trial week the week of December 14th. And you'll appear each day until your case is resolved.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am?
What usually happens in these type of cases?
You would, statistically what would happen is when you come to your court date on the 9th, you would have that paperwork in your hand and you would ask for a conference. And you would show that paperwork to the solicitor's office and negotiate with them to see if you could resolve your case in some way other than a trial. However, if you choose to have a trial the next week, I'm happy to provide that to you with a bench trial with me if you want, or we'll give you an option for a jury trial as well. You understand you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, but is it any, like, do I have to take it to trial?
Oh, no. No, you'd have a conference to see and show them that paperwork that you're waving up there. And you can probably figure out a way other than a trial to resolve your case at that time. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you in the courtroom at the same time that the solicitor's here to give you a chance to resolve your case. But I just want to make sure that you hear me say that all of your options are on the table. You can still ask for a bench trial with me. You can still ask for a jury trial if you want one. And you can still have a conference and see about resolving your case.
So would I have to pay the fines or institution for being here?
No, ma'am, I'm not going to fine you for missing court. I have that option, but I'm not going to.
Thank you, sir.
So, all right, you need to sign this before you leave, and bring your license to court when you come to your next court date, okay? Because you're telling me you got it reinstated, right?
Well, it's a Florida license, so do I need to have my Georgia
Yeah.
license before I come?
You need to have whichever license is valid and says that you can drive. That's all we care about. I don't care if it's Georgia, Florida, or Wyoming. I just want you to come to court with a valid license.
Okay.
All right, sign that paperwork.
And thank you for seeing me.
You're very welcome. Oh, and you have the right to have an attorney. I need to just put that on record. I don't think I said that. So it's on the paperwork she's about to sign. Okay, it is 11:22. I am going to say issue the warrants. I don't know, forfeit any cash bonds, although I don't think there were any. I'm going to close the feed, and then we're going to do an informal calendar call, and then we're going to close up shop. Yeah, Mr. Walker, you need to put anything else on the record before we officially adjourn?
No, sir.
Don, you need anything from me? Cool. Just before I close it. All right. I am closing out the feed, but Mr. Walker, sit tight. We'll do a calendar call, and then we'll move on. Court's adjourned.